What's your tactic for approaching difficult conversations?
to prepare. Like to say, okay, I'm aggravated. Let me really sort out all my thoughts so that I can articulate
So
them
remove
clean.
emotion. So
Well, no, I want to hear my emotion. I want to listen to the whole thing, and I want to get myself organized.
prior to, right?
Well, right, and so let's say I'm in a position of authority.
Yeah.
I have to, if I'm the authority, I have to recognize that my position influences the way that the information is going to be received. The owner of the company being critical of someone's work is much different than a peer, which is different than a manager, which is different than a subordinate,
Right.
right? So we have to know our place. But then, and this is why I give kind of a step-by-step process. But just quickly on this, in our tools, it's a whole little class, like a mini class or workshop on it. But once you master it, it's like you literally see a situation with the intention of building through it, not going through the aggravation. That part's gonna be clear. Hey, we didn't accomplish what we needed to, and you didn't follow the direction I gave.
Yeah.
Right? Those are clear statements. Here's what I'm looking for, and then kind of going through this process of it in a manner to help the person develop. They know it. And so to practice, what we did was we put on a workshop, and we had our people call their vendors that were letting them down, because it's easier to do downward than upward.
Yeah.
But once we do it downward a few times, then we could do it peer to peer a few times. It's much easier to go upward with it.
Yeah.
And I believe that a lot of the correction that I've seen in management is that the manager needs correcting, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
And so becoming really good at building through helps, obviously, the subordinate, certainly can help the peer, but it's probably most impactful when you're influencing the leader, a
Yeah.
manager,
Yeah.
someone in an authority to the person.
You know what I found when it comes to the hard conversations is, for me, is first thing is like remove emotion.
Mm,
Remove my perspective and my emotion from the situation, because I might be feeling something from the day before, the morning of. I might
mhm,
have argued with my friend or my
mm.
wife and whatever. And am I bringing that emotion to the situation?
I'd say that I understand part of that in the delivery. My encouragement would be to include the emotion, just not the explosion,
Right.
because it's the most accurate. Like, I want to convey um, authenticity. And so let's say that my feelings were extremely hurt. For me to behave as if they were not extremely hurt, I'm already giving somebody less than a whole representation of what's going on.
Yeah.
So they don't have to feel that emotion, but they can hear it. Like, I was so hurt by what you did. This is how I felt about this, right? Like, you can express that cleanly without bringing the emotional side of the emotion. Like, I don't want to have an emotional discussion there, but I want to express clearly what my emotions were so that the other person's aware. And I can only control that part. And so I would say that I don't want to mute you if that's how you're feeling. Again, that's why I put together a whole exercise. It's not
Yeah.
as, to me, it's not as simple. But generally, as a rule of thumb, hey, if you can respond without getting emotionally charged and just talk about the items that need to and move forward, great. If doing so is part of you going along to get along and you don't want to express what's really going on behind the scenes, that's the piece that's interesting to me, that we would want to like dig a
Right.
little bit and find a way to help that person express themselves so that they are being properly
Yeah.
represented.
It's like psychiatry, not business. It's like
Yeah,
you really have to understand the person, the mind,
yeah.
and all of it.